Hey there guys, Sean here from WinBeta, and welcome to episode 20 of the WinBeta podcast for the week of June 19th, 2015. With me is co-host Zach.
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, and this week we'll be talking about all sorts of things. We got Windows 10 official builds for mobile, Windows 10 non-official builds that are leaked for the desktop. There you go. We have Terry Myerson leading hardware and the Windows division over at Microsoft, as well as a ton of news from E3 and a couple other things, such as the supercomputer, which can run the whole universe, and I think is being used in the new Terminator movie because it's so advanced. So yeah, there you go. We'll start off this week, as we do every week, with Windows 10 related news, but this week we have two builds, so we'll go through those first. First one's the desktop, yeah?
Yes, a build of the desktop leaks. This is a frequent thing now, pretty much. We're always getting leaks of Windows 10 desktop builds, and this week we had build 10,147, which was actually a good leak. It did include a number of different changes over the last public preview build, which was 10,130. Some of the changes include the title bars. This build is full of small changes, but they are changes you appreciate. So the title bars, the Win32 title bars, are now the same size as modern apps, which is a small thing, but many people complained and they finally changed it to match. They've also adjusted the highlights so it actually matches your theme color. They've made changes to the notification center so it looks a bit better. The start menu also receives a few updates. Mail and calendar apps, new icons. Title bars have been unified. They now work better with modern apps. It's just a touch-up build, and it's really good. Sadly, it's not being pushed out officially to insiders, but if you are dareish, you can download it from the usual websites and install it for yourself. Yes, places.
Not here, but elsewhere.
But places. So yeah, it's a good leak. It echoes how the RTM will look and feel. It's not the RTM. There's still work to be done, but these newer builds are starting to show us what we can expect when the RTM comes to us on July 29th. So very exciting stuff there. There was also an official build release for phone, which is finally we had a new build release for phone.
I know. I actually got this one. We actually have had 3 now, and 2 within a month. It's wonderful.
We had build 10,136, and I installed it on my 930, and I'm running it on my daily driver. This build isn't the most stable build. I would say it's a little bit more stable than build 10,180. Not as good as obviously a stable version of Windows Phone 8.1, but that's to be expected. There's an annoying bug with this, that when you launch an app, it takes a second. But other than that, well, actually, there's another bug as well. Sometimes typing with the keyboard just crashes all your apps and you lose all of your types or whatever you were typing. But other than that, it's okay. It's a bit slower than, like I said, a normal 8.1 install, but better than it was in 10,080, which is a good thing. Microsoft says that this build isn't being pushed out to 10,080 users, as there was a bug on 10,080 which stops it. But the next build, which should be out whenever, because Microsoft never commit to a date, that should be pushed out to everybody. So not to actual normal people, but to insiders. So that'd be good.
Always with the bugs with you, Zach. It's like, we just got a new build. We're all excited. You all love it. You've downloaded it. I'm going to tell you everything that's wrong with it. It's like, I want to know what's right with it.
Look,
it looks nice. It actually works.
But here's the thing. I'm going to tell you what you're going to run into when using the build.
I guess.
In my videos, I won't talk about bugs unless I run into the bugs. If I'm running into a bug mid-video, I will explain what this bug is. If I don't run into that bug, I'm not going to talk about it. That's how it goes.
I tried build. I have a 640. Your preview for this video was down on 635, and on my 640, I couldn't get 10,080 to work at all. I upgraded to the preview build, and I couldn't even get to the start menu. I don't think, or it was super restricted. It just couldn't really functionally do anything on it. This one I wouldn't use every day, but it's a spare phone, so it's fine. It's a lot more stable. There were some issues to go with your theme about pointing out. I basically had to update or reinstall a ton of apps, which is a pretty irritating bug.
One of the biggest bugs in this build is the fact that this Windows Store is atrocious. at updating apps. When you first install the build, you will have to update apps because a number of them aren't installed by default. And the store just doesn't want to do it. It will refuse to update apps. It will have error out all the time. It will crash. It finally does it eventually for reasons unknown, but it's just poor. And if I was a normal person running this build, I'd be sad.
Yeah, obviously, it's for most of us not an everyday build. I also had an issue. I couldn't install Skype, which is I don't like.
Yeah,
I said, I'm not
they said that was an issue with Skype on there.
Yeah, so that's a known issue. But what I would say is I was quite impressed that it actually works pretty well because it's not for mobile. RTM isn't in the next few weeks. It's months from now. And so the fact that it's this stable at all, to me, is a pretty good sign. A lot of the features are already going to be in there. I think a lot of the work that they're going to do for Windows 10 desktop and tablet is really going to help out with mobile because things like the Outlook app is going to be sharing a lot of coding. And so updating the Outlook app to getting it to work on Windows 10 desktop is going to help it work on Windows 10 mobile. And you're going to see that again and again and again. And so that lets the mobile team focus more on stability and other features and all the mobile specific stuff that they're trying to do. So for me, it's a pretty good sign of hope for Windows 10 mobile because it's already this far along. Do you agree, disagree with that? What do you think?
There's still a lot of work to be done.
Yeah, no, I don't think
this build compared to 10,080, it's way better. And obviously way better is better for everybody. And by the time Windows 10 mobile RTMs, it should be great for all the people in the world and other stuff. So definitely looking forward to future builds. I wouldn't recommend running this as your main driver today. Yeah. But if you're like me and has to be running the latest stuff, then I guess you ain't got no choice. I also forgot to mention that the desktop leak, build 10,147, includes Edge branding, which is nice, which means the next official Insider build will have Edge branding. Great news for those who were waiting for that.
I used Edge, though it was called Spartan on the mobile one. I don't think it's to the point that I really care. Like, I'm cool that it's there and it's going to be there. But, like, to me, it doesn't seem that different right now on the mobile to the point where I'm like, oh, wow, I really want this. Seems like they're still working out quite a bit on Edge. Yeah, well, also the big news this week, in addition to those builds, is there's now one person who's going to be in charge of Windows 10 Mobile, Windows 10 Desktop Tablet, the Lumia division, and the Surface division. So he's in charge of a massive amount of Microsoft, and that is...
has a lot on his shoulders.
Yeah, Mr. Terry Myerson is going to be in charge of, let's see here. This from our article this week says, currently Terry Myerson is to take head of a new team, the Windows and Device Group, which will be a combination of the current operating system group and Microsoft Devices Group, the latter of which was previously headed by ELOP. This division will drive Windows as a service across devices and manage all Microsoft consumer hardware products. So you can see there that's going to be running hardware, Windows. I don't want to say everything because there's obviously Microsoft also has the cloud and has everything else. And there were a lot of other changes.
It's a big
but what
chunk,
we want to focus on today. What was that there?
He's running a big chunk of stuff now.
Yeah, that's the thing here. There were a lot of other changes. Definitely go ahead and read the article for that. I don't want to just list off every single change that they have, but the biggest thing to us is the Lumia division, the Surface division, and Windows will all be under the same head, and that's Terry Myerson.
And in the light of these position changes, I guess, a number of high-level executives are also leaving, air quotes, the company, such as Stephen Elop, who was obviously the guy behind Lumia at Nokia, and when Microsoft bought the Nokia phone side of things, Stephen Elop came over to Microsoft, and now he's apparently retiring. Well, as well as the guy who did the Scroogled campaign.
Yep, no more Scroogled.
I forget his name. Well, there was no more Scroogled anyway, but he did do it. I forget his name. Do you know his name, Sean?
I don't.
Well, he's also out the door. He also, I believe, he also retired. Doing these air quotes because we don't know if they did retire. It seems odd that they would all retire at the same time, but I'm not a businessman. I don't know.
I mean, when you run something like that, I'm sure you could get a job somewhere else. Like I doubt. It's not like, oh no,
Stephen Elop
live in a gutter.
Minted. I think he probably doesn't have to work again, Stephen Elop.
He probably doesn't have to work the rest of his life.
Exactly.
But if any of them want to,
They
like the
can.
head of the phone division that left, like they can work their whole wherever they want, basically.
Apple.
Probably not
No,
Apple.
they don't. They don't. No,
Can you
actually,
imagine?
Apple did like the Lumia hardware, so maybe. You never know.
Well, they do like their hardware over at Apple. They make good hardware,
They
just
do.
to be honest. So I
Let's
can
not
understand that.
compliment Apple on a Microsoft-based podcast, please.
What was that?
Let's not compliment Apple on a Microsoft-based podcast, please.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Like I could see why they'd like Nokia because they make good hardware.
Yeah.
Or Nokia, as an American would say. But apparently
it's Nokia, guys. Nokia.
Yeah. And you know what? You're going to have to care because they're starting to make phones again.
They are, and tablets. They already released one tablet.
So there you go. Going to have to deal with that.
They're now going to compete with the company that they recently purchased their own devices from. So there you go.
Right. So you're going to have I'm going to be holding up a Nokia Lumia 930, and I could hold it next to a different Nokia smartphone, but they wouldn't be from the same company,
yeah,
even though they kind of were.
Yeah. So it's like the brother that went evil and split off. And now he's back for the family. You can't be here. You were disowned.
I know this. Maybe this is a weird reference, but in music for drumming, there's a really big brand for cymbals, and they were all brothers. I think it was the Zildjian brothers, and then like one of them spun off, took everything he learned, and then started his own rival company. And it's like, so there you go.
Yeah.
This could be the symbol. Anyway, moving on. Do you think it's a good idea to have one person in charge of that many things at one company, no matter how talented they are?
I think he's going to go under a lot of stress, but I think he could handle it. Terry Myerson, good at his job. Not the most powerful speaker on stage, one might say, but that you don't need to be powerful to speak on stage to be good at your job. Can you not message me on Skype, please? Thank you.
So, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think the speaking thing can hurt them a bit because they have the release to the public. And then whenever the Surface Pro 4 launches, he's going to be doing that or involved in it. And when they have whatever Lumia flagship comes out. So there'd be a lot of major announcements this year by him. But I think in a bit like the King's Speech with the movie where the King of England wasn't that great at speaking, but he had to learn how to do public speaking during World War II. I think they'll coach him up, get us, or what's that song with the rain in Spain stays mainly on the plane, get that in there. I know public speaking is quite hard, particularly when you're live streaming to thousands and thousands of people.
I'd be stressed if I had to come out on stage and talk to Windows insiders, journalists, and developers. I'd be like, whew.
But I'm sure he'll get better over time, and then honestly, people respect him because they know he's good at his job. So even if he's not
an excellent speaker on stage.
Yeah,
I love Joe Fio's presentations. I just tune in for them.
They rotate through anyway.
Yeah, and with the Surface stuff, I'm sure Panos Panay will still do the Surface stuff. He's an excellent speaker on stage as well. He always drops the Surfaces on stage. It's great. It's the demo.
Well, they rotate in those people anyway, though, because they don't want just the same four. They don't want it just be the same four guys. So
Terry Myerson is now the guy because he's running all of it. He is above all of those presenters. He is the people. He is the person that decides what goes where and who does what.
Especially from a finance standpoint. The only person I'd say, because it's just a completely different realm, would be Phil Spencer with Xbox.
Yes.
But in terms of how much money it brings into Microsoft, it's Myerson.
Yeah. Terry Myerson, if you're worrying about your job, I'll gladly take it.
You want to do public speaking at Builds and
absolutely. Guys, wouldn't it be great if I did a build presentation at Build?
You could do a build presentation. You'd be like, there are a number of improvements since the last previous public release build.
I'm sure you all have, so here we go.
And then I'll do the marketing and be like, here's a video, and it's always going to feature The Rock, because as we know, for some reason, every example I used when I was talking about marketing with Microsoft involved The Rock.
Microsoft should have just hired a demo person just to demo builds.
The Rock wearing a HoloLens. Whatever. That's all. Apparently, those are the only creative ideas I have. It's just The Rock plus whatever Microsoft product talking about.
Well, all these. I mean, the Scroogle guy leaving the company. Now there's a marketing place for you, Sean.
I know. Well, you said that. You said they were actually opening, and I can't reveal at this time. But needless to say, I won't. I will be in America this summer. Surprise, Mom, don't listen. I know she's...
That was your fault this time. I cut it out.
That's my fault. That's my fault. Everyone will know on Earth except for my mom. I'm just saying I will be in the States. I will be there on, who knows? what it could be about. And there is a marketing position open at Microsoft. So just saying.
And I'll be there behind his back
wish.
demoing builds in
That
front
would
of
be
thousands of
great.
people. That's my dream job. Demoing Windows builds in front of fanatics of Windows.
You know what? I
Which
don't
I
think
do on the YouTube, but on a
Couldn't
stage
work
it's different.
we couldn't work here anymore though if we did that.
I know, yeah, you're right. Microsoft wouldn't allow it. 'Cause,
You you can't have the builds and then do a video. Hey, guess where I got this build from? There's only one person in the company that has it. It's me.
Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't be able to do it. So I'd have to say goodbye to YouTube and
No, don't leave us, Zach.
no, well, we'll see. Nah, I wouldn't leave you guys. You guys are awesome.
Oh, so yeah, I think he can handle it. I do think it's a lot though. I'm sure he has a lot of help though. I'm sure there's like
it's not just him doing it all. I mean, he's probably got guys helping him out.
Was Meyerson the one behind the meeting where they just like where they restarted Windows Phone? Was that him?
No, I don't believe. Maybe I
Was
don't
he?
actually know.
Was he? I think he was in the meeting where they took Windows Phone and said we need to start from the ground up.
Was
and
that Windows Phone 7 to Windows Phone 8? Or
No, I think it was
Windows Mobile
6 point.
Oh,
I think it was the one to Windows Phone
Could
7.
be. I'm not entirely sure.
We just need to restart. I think that was him. Don't quote me on that if it's
Could have
wrong.
been
Like,
Joe Belfiore, because Joe
unsubscribe.
Belfiore's been a Windows guy for a while.
I'm pretty sure it was Meyerson, but I could
Alright,
be
well,
wrong.
I'm sure. Let's take your word for it. It's Meyerson.
Yeah, and so I think that was one of the reasons that we like him. But yeah,
It's funny
I also
with the jump from 6.5 to 7, they just got rid of that and jumped again from 7 to 8 and completely reset it again. So,
but with 8 to 10, they've kept some things, but
Good.
not everything.
Well, most things they haven't really changed much, have they?
Well, yeah, that's true.
They're improving. That's a good thing.
One thing that they are changing though is the Windows 10 Insider program. Yeah.
Yes, there are some changes coming to the Insider program. Nothing dramatic. It's just Gabe Old posted a blog post earlier today which explains the Microsoft account and its use with Insider builds and how insiders will be getting their builds, getting the RTM on July 29th. So in the upcoming builds, you will need a Microsoft account to receive Insider builds. You'll need to be on your Microsoft account, signed up to the Insider program, and signed in with that Microsoft account on your build to be updated to the next one. That wasn't really a requirement up until recently. So that's one of the changes. Another change they've also spoken about how insiders will get the RTM on July 29th. Windows insiders running the Windows 10 Insider Preview with their registered Microsoft account to their PC will receive the final release build of Windows 10 starting on July 29th. This will come as just another flight, so as a normal build, I guess, you will wake up on July 29th and there will be a new build ready to install. And you just download it and that's the Windows 10 RTM. This will come as just another flight. I've gotten a lot of questions from Windows insiders about how this will work and if the clean install from an ISO. As long as you're running the Insider build and connected with a Microsoft account that you've registered with, you will receive the Windows 10 final release build and remain activated. So no activation issues there. If you have a valid Microsoft account running, which is signed up to the Insider Preview, and you're running the preview builds, upgrading to Windows 10 on July 29th will not alter your activation whatsoever. You'll also be able to clean install, I believe, because once you've registered the RTM as being installed, you can just reinstall fine. And because I believe it must be registered to your Microsoft account, because once you re-sign in with your Microsoft account, your Windows will be activated again. So that's all good. They've also announced that Microsoft Edge is coming in the next Insider build, but it won't keep your history, cookies, and stuff because of the branding change, which is weird. Well, they said if you want to keep these, you need to back up your favorites before the next flight, and there's an instruction on how to do it, which is a long string of horrible text, which I'm not going to read out because nobody's going to remember it. And yeah, so that's pretty much all the announcements really. The Insider Hub and Windows Feedback app apparently won't be installed by default, even though they said that it would. It'll be listed in the start menu, so click on it to install it, but it's not installed by default. And I think that might be it. They've also announced, obviously, that the Insider program will continue after RTM.
Right.
And if you want to continue receiving flights for upcoming updates, you just stick with the program, and you will continue receiving flights after RTM quite soon, I imagine. So all those great announcements.
Now, let me ask. So they'll have RTM ready. Honestly, what is it? It's the 19th. They'll have RTM ready in like a few weeks, right?
Yeah, but they've said here that insiders won't get it till July 29th.
Hmm.
It will leak. I would be surprised if it doesn't leak. Right, guys? Let's be fair.
Are they really saying that they're going to RTM the same day as the public release?
Oh, no. They were RTM before, but they won't give it to insiders until July 29th.
Oh, okay. I guess that kind of makes sense. Not really.
No, I would have thought if I was.
Nah, you're right. It doesn't make any sense.
No,
I'm just trying to be polite.
No, because let's be fair. If you have 3 million insiders willing to test code that needs to be tested, you would really, and it's your actual final product that's going to go out to millions of people. You're going to want to test this before you actually put it out there, right? And not just with the thousands of people at Microsoft, but you're going to want to test it with a large collection of people and squash as many bugs as you can. Microsoft here is going, nah, we're confident it'll be fine on day one.
I would RTM it as soon as it's ready. It's just be like, is this the RTM build? Yes. Put a stamp on it. I would send it out to everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Anybody who wants to test it, absolutely come and test it.
And then they beg people, please, because when
we will pay you to test it.
Well, I don't know about paying you.
Microsoft's points. There you go. I think they're doing them no more.
But when they do release it to the public, I wouldn't mind if there were updates right away. If they just said, this is the Windows 10 build, but there has since been updates based on feedback from 3 million people.
Exactly.
Yeah, because this is huge. Like this is a really big change. So, yeah.
I guess it'll leak. I'll be surprised if it doesn't leak. And if it does leak, hey, RTM from us early, which is good.
If it leaks, can you do feedback from a leaked build?
Yes.
You'd be like, hey, you know this thing I was never supposed to get? Turns out it doesn't work that well. Amazingly, it doesn't work. Even maybe that's why you didn't send it to us. Could be.
Probably. Microsoft. I do question your choices sometimes.
Well, we all know you want. But this one actually makes sense. It's not just you want builds because you want builds.
Exactly. It's because I want to make sure that RTM is as smooth as possible. Because trust me, I've reserved Windows 10 on people's laptops who hate change. And if you mess this up, Microsoft, I'm in trouble.
That's true.
So make it good.
Yeah, like my mom, like we talked about this before, she just, I think it's different strokes for different folks. I've known, you know people that prefer the start screen on a laptop and desktop.
Yeah, my girlfriend, who's apparently crazy, prefers the... Well, actually, I say that. I tweeted this and I got a few responses saying, no, I agree with her. How?
I think it depends on use, though. Like, for you and me, I'll admit, before I worked at WinBeta, I didn't really use the desktop that much on my computer. I was cool with apps, and then the only time I really went to the desktop was for, like, Office. And it was almost like I almost used my Surface Pro like a Surface 2.
Why didn't you just get a Surface 2 then?
There were a few, I think there was like a couple programs, well, at least one program at the time that I wanted that I couldn't get on an RT. Which has since proven to be a good decision.
See, my RT is there.
There you go.
I don't use it no more.
Yeah, there you go.
Just sits there.
But for me, I'm glad that I have Pro because, but admittedly, a lot of people don't use the desktop that much. Now that I'm at WinBeta, I have full Adobe, I have Camtasia, you have, XSplit, there's all sorts of programs that you just couldn't do unless you go to the desktop.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I can see why a lot of normal everyday users would want the start screen as default and then the desktop only to be there when they need it, which is an option, as you pointed out on Twitter. You can just change it to your girlfriend and everyone else that likes to start screen more than the start menu can just make that the default,
absolutely, right? Make the start screen default, yeah.
So there you go.
Here's the thing, though. People are complaining about the touch side of Windows 10, saying that it's not as good as it was on Windows 8, which I disagree with, and I think I might be talking about that a little bit more in an upcoming video and post on the website.
I mean, it depends what you use it for. I know people that instead of a television have an all-in-one computer, touchscreen with a touchscreen, and why would you want that to open up to the desktop? You would want to walk in and say Netflix play, and that's all you would want. And so if you're using your computer, you're still going to do the update probably, but you're not going to want it to open to the desktop. So depending on use, you're not going to want that. And because Microsoft is figuring out that people like customization, you'll be able to do that. So there you go.
Yeah. So yes,
Yeah.
Windows 10 coming soon to a computer near you, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. Huh. So yeah, there's that. That's all the Windows 10 stuff for this week. Not all, obviously. There's tons of stories. Check out WinBeta. Go read every article you can. But for this podcast, we're going to move on to some news that we care about, Zach and I personally. But we know, and we will admit, is not the wheelhouse for some of our everyday listeners because it's about E3 and gaming. So
We can't do
I
gaming
know,
on this channel. How dare you even
I
mention
know it. For the record, we'll probably use the word Windows and the word 10 a few times. So if that keeps you here,
Yes. Windows 10 will
Xbox
be
One
brought
deals
up.
with Windows 10 now,
Yeah.
so we'll mention it just to keep guys on the podcast, guys and girls on the podcast. First things first, and you did a video on this, but I get to talk about it. The Xbox One is going to be, well, already is, backwards compatible with certain Xbox 360 games in a very impressive, I'd say, software accomplishment. They emulate the Xbox 360 inside the Xbox One and allow you to play Xbox 360 games either it's natively, even though it's running through an emulator, it's running natively on the Xbox One, including things like saying to your screen, take a screenshot, and other notifications, that sort of thing, are all going to work through the Xbox One. And they're starting out now with a smaller number of games. I think it's like 22 at the very moment, right?
Xbox preview users, yeah.
Yeah, for the preview users. And then they're adding more and more and more. They want 100 by the holidays this year. They're letting people vote on what they want in the future. They're just going to keep releasing this over time. If you have a disc instead of a digital copy, you can put the disc in. Then it has to download like a little bit on the Xbox One, but then it can run. But you have to keep the disc in there. It's not like it downloads the whole game, but
yeah,
it works.
Disc-based ones will have to obviously require the disc to continue playing.
But that was true anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing's changed there. If you have a digital version of it, you can just download it from your ready-to-install list and play it. You say it's native. It technically isn't native because it is running through an emulator, but it feels native because it's
it feels native.
It's really well done, and it's really cool to actually bring up the Xbox 360 guide within your Xbox One by pressing the pause and the select button, which they've changed the name of them on Windows 10 on Xbox One, but whatever it is on Xbox One, you just press two of them and it comes up, and you get your friends list, achievements, your old notifications, they're all there, and I think it's pretty cool.
Now you've actually used this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And and you liked it. It worked smooth.
Smooth as a whistle. It was. I mean, it was a basic game. It wasn't like a full-on Halo Reach style game because that's not available yet. But a World of Keflings confirmed, working great. I imagine it wouldn't be that different. We will have to see because there's not really any graphical intensive games on there yet, so we haven't really been able to test it. But I imagine it'd be fine. I had a couple of issues with sound, so the sound would sort of be choppy if I came out of the game back to the Xbox One dashboard, but then it'd be fine if I came back into it. But it only happened once to me, and I couldn't replicate it, so it might have been a one-off thing. But
yeah, I think it's good. I also like that they're letting people vote. I'm sure they're all just going to go vote for Halo and Call of Duty and like the same 10 games, but there will be some other ones. I mean, there are a lot of Xbox 360 games that people like, and they just didn't buy the Xbox One because they didn't want to have two things set up. Or, to be honest, it's an expensive console. So some people need to sell. I asked this on Twitter because I was like, well, if you already have an Xbox 360, why don't you just get both? But funding-wise, a lot of people sell their old console to buy the new one. And you can't, unlike you who just did the reverse when you bought a second one. And so I can understand that. People say, look, if it's $100 or $200 towards an Xbox One, it's a big deal. And there are some deals from Microsoft and Best Buy where you can trade in your Xbox 360 or your PS3. I think one of them had to be the PS3 Slim. And then depending on what model it is and stuff, you can get $100 or sometimes even more dollars trade in. And that's great because some people are going to need that. I understand they're expensive, and I'm sure Microsoft does as well. So this is going to draw more users into the Xbox One universe, and it's going to get better and better over time.
The most annoying thing about this great announcement is that 3 days before they announced it, I went out and repurchased an Xbox 360 because I had an Xbox 360, got an Xbox One, sold the Xbox 360 because I didn't really need it no more, even though I had a bunch of games where I was stupid, but I did sell it and got an Xbox One. Was happy, I guess, all the old Xbox 360 games I didn't really need. To be fair, I was one of those digital guys and didn't have any discs. So I went out and bought a 360 again so I could start playing the old games like Halo Reach, Assassin's Creed. 3 days later, Microsoft says, hey, guess what? Your Xbox 360 games are coming to Xbox One. And I look at the 360 and the 360's there, and I was like...
You know what I was doing the whole time during E3?
What?
Looking at my Wii U.
Did you tune into the Nintendo conference?
I like the Wii U, but it's pretty easy to admit. Like, oh, I think I might be lagging.
Just a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, we're losing. We're losing.
I like the Wii U.
Oh.
Okay, I'm good now?
Yeah, you're good. Keep going.
Okay. I like the Wii U, but man, in comparison to some of these Xbox announcements, it's just like Smash Brothers and Splatoon don't stand up to everything Xbox One's doing right now.
Did you see the Metroid announcement from Nintendo? Everybody doesn't want that game.
Let's not get into that. Let's just say that I want the Xbox One in addition to the Wii U with good reason.
Microsoft won E3.
You know, some people are saying Sony smashed it, and I'm like, that's nonsense.
Yeah,
like,
they did a
no
few
way.
games, and that was about it. They didn't.
Would they do a Final Fantasy VII remake? Like they didn't do it as much. Like Xbox, you got backwards compatibility, you got a new dashboard, they got Cortana, they got all this stuff, and they're just like, yeah, PS3, PS4, Sony, they won. I'm like,
Sony came out today and said, yeah, we're not going to do that. We were surprised. Microsoft did really well. We can't do that. Sorry. And it was that Sony still wins. So
yeah,
Microsoft can never win.
Yeah. So there's that. There are a bunch of other changes too. So that's only. I mean, I'd say backwards compatibility is the biggest news, but it's not like the only news.
Oh no, there was a whole ton of news that came out.
Next, dashboard stuff. I haven't used this much. So, maybe you can talk about that a bit more.
It's not out to the public yet. That's why. But yes, Microsoft is working on a new dashboard experience for the Xbox One, which is built for speed and built on Windows 10, I believe. So for those Xbox One users who used Xbox One today, you'll know that the dashboard is slow. It takes a while to get to any app, to launch a game. With this new dashboard, they're trying to eliminate the time it takes to do stuff. So getting to a game, simple, launching apps. It should be a lot quicker. The guide is now from the left, much like the original Xbox 360 Blades dashboard. So you press it and it comes out from the left. Then you get your friends, notifications, Cortana, and other stuff. You can use Cortana to ask if a friend's online, ask what your next quest is in a game. So with the new Fable game, you can say, hey, Cortana, what's my next quest after this one? And Cortana will say, oh, your next quest is to defeat the bad guy, etc.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, I think it's quite cool.
Like, that's got to be one of the coolest features for Cortana. You'd be like, bam, killed this villain. What do I do now? It's like, go over there. And you're like, okay, I'll make it over this way.
To be fair, I want to see how they implement it with Halo, because for those, spoilers if you haven't played Halo 4, which is like a 4-year-old game now, Cortana dies. So how are we going to have Cortana on Xbox One that's just sitting there even though she's dead? That'd be interesting. Exactly. Hey, Cortana, no, you're still here? No.
That's what they could do, though. You could be like in Halo 5. You'd be like, what do I do now? And she's just like, R.I.P. Cortana.
Oh, so she's not there. She doesn't answer. Oh,
yeah,
that'd be
that's
good.
The thing.
That'd
be like good. Microsoft's built-in failsafe for like if it's not available for that game. They'd be like, really why isn't she here? Be like, she died in the 4th one, dude.
Exactly.
Or dudette. Like, she ain't here.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Could they just bring her back? She's a piece of software. Just make.
She went rampant, and she did this weird like copy thing at the end of Halo 4, which apparently killed her off. But apparently, like bits of her in Halo 5.
They can bring her back. It's a video game. They could say they brought her back.
I'm sure they will eventually. But Halo 5 is more about the Chief running away from his army stuff.
What if you had 2 Cortanas? One with Spartan Locke and one with Master Chief.
Then we have 2 Cortanas on Xbox One in the left, one in the right. Cortana!
hey, Cortana, and then it'll be 2 on your Xbox, 1 on your phone, 1 on your toaster, and 1 on your bread maker. So
we should also talk about the streaming, because Microsoft finally enabled game streaming to Windows 10.
Yeah.
Which is good. So, and it works with Xbox 360 games, which is a double.
It's a.
Exactly. Because now everybody for years have been complaining, why can't we play Halo on PC? Now you can.
Well, kinda.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're streaming, but you technically can.
You can play it on your PC, but not through your PC. But it goes through your PC, just not from your PC.
Yeah.
Lots of prepositions here, folks.
Yeah,
Try to stay on
it
top
works,
of things.
though. It works.
Yeah, it does work. That's the thing.
It feels native.
Yeah,
And
no,
that's
I
good
mean,
enough for me.
yeah, good enough for you. Like we said, not native. Feels native.
They also announced a bunch of games. Halo 5, which was already announced. What else did they announce? They showed off Tomb Raider, Gears of War, Fallout 4.
Oh,
Yeah, Fallout 4 looks good.
my wallet was just like, I'm going to buy an Xbox. I'll see you soon. Goodbye.
If Sean was in the chat, he said, my wallet just flew out the window. I think it's halfway down the street towards buying an Xbox One.
I think it went to PC World and they turned it down because the photo ID didn't line up. Hard time entering my PIN. You know, if it was in America, I probably could have bought one because there you just swipe, you just sign. They don't actually check the signature a bunch of times. Here you got to do a PIN number or a PIN.
Oh, well, no, you don't have to now. We've got contactless cards.
I don't have a contactless
No, neither
card.
do I. But my bank will not give me one, which is a shame.
To clarify on the way that it works for streaming onto Windows 10, can you explain that a bit for me / the rest of everyone else?
So the Xbox One will stream, or with the Xbox app on Windows 10, the Xbox One will send the game to that app through your PC, and you'll be able to play it through there. I think you have to use a controller. You may be able to use mouse and keyboard, I'm not sure, but you can get achievements, and I believe some of the games, not all of them, but I think the new Fable is actually built for Windows 10, so you can actually run that natively on Windows 10 as well, and you can play on Windows 10 and on your Xbox. So with a
Now,
friend.
what does that get me other than like just how does that help me other than how is it different than if I just use my computer as a monitor for the Xbox?
That's not, the streaming. Streaming is different because for streaming you can have the Xbox do other things whilst you're streaming the game. So you can be watching telly. Oh, my screen just went black. You can be watching telly as your kid plays a game from your Xbox One onto your computer, even if your Xbox routes the telly. So you can actually have, multiple things going on at once.
Okay.
And it just feels native on. I mean, because for games like Halo Reach, which is on the PC, I can now essentially play the game on the PC. And I imagine you can use a mouse and keyboard. I'd be surprised if you
I would hope so.
Yeah.
I would think if they're putting it on the PC, people are going to want to use mouse and keyboard. I should know if you can or not, but I don't. Lots of other nuts. Let me see here. Game preview program. Speaking of PC people, PC gamers love being able to get preview builds, or preview games rather. And then now they're having a similar program for the Xbox. So it's the Xbox One preview program. So you can, one thing I liked about this, you can do a trial and then decide if you want to pay to do the trial. Because sometimes you might do a trial and you say, it's not finished enough. I don't want to play it. So that's nice. So that's a thing. Modding? What was the news on modding? You can mod on
Fallout 4, not all games, only Fallout 4 announced it, but you'll be able to port your Fallout 4 mods from the PC to Xbox One, which is amazing.
Well, that's a big step, though.
Yes.
You can't build the mods on the Xbox, but if you build a mod, you can export it into, or import it into, export it from, but whatever, onto the Xbox One, which is nice. And that shows that that's potentially available in the future. So if it's a popular feature, you might see that jump into other games.
They should do it for GTA.
I think that people would love it. People like mods. Yeah. There you go. I think eventually you'll see that that'll get more popular. Maybe next year at E3, they'll say, hey, mods are so great in Fallout 4. Now everybody can mod. It's wonderful.
I'm sure they can actually get Fallout free with Fallout 4 as well.
Well, there you go.
Make a full game just for the price of one, which is amazing.
They could be like, hey, Fallout 4, you had to wait a few years. It's not the end of the world. Well, actually.
Or you get Fallout 4, play Fallout 3 first as you get it for free.
There you go.
I'm gonna play
no, there's. I think it's great. I agree. One of the commenters, Rodrigo, said he said still pretty groundbreaking, even if it's just Fallout 4 for now. Which I think it's great. I honestly, Xbox One and Microsoft, though I know they didn't have a ton of PC related gaming stuff, which I know people want more of, but Xbox One's, man, is really improving. Just in a few years, that system has become so much more than it once was. They unbundled the Kinect, then they have all these great things that help it. If you have a Kinect, there's all these features with it. If you want it just for gaming, there's all these features with it. Streaming backwards compatibility, it's great. I mean, I'm really glad that they're improving.
We should also talk about the magnificent, sexy Xbox One gaming controller. The advanced
Oh,
gaming controller.
yes. It's like
Elite, sorry, that's what it's called.
it's a very attractive piece of
It's
kit.
an expensive piece of kit, but it has like you can change all the buttons and stuff. You've got extra buttons on the back, paddles and whatnot. Got hairline triggers, whatever they're called. All these great professional gaming stuff, all for the low price of $150.
So yeah, you can either get a Kinect or an
Or a
Extreme.
keyboard or a controller.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna be like one of those people and buy one.
Honestly, I don't think I'm not good enough. Like I'll put it this way: I play the saxophone. I played it for years. I can tell the difference between if you hand me a student saxophone, intermediate, and a professional. I also worked at a music store, so I know some of that as well from that. I can tell the difference. I can feel the blues. I can feel the springs that are better on a saxophone when it's different. Just how finesse it is, how great it seals, just all the great things. I played the saxophone for years. For me, the Xbox, the other controller, I'd be like, oh, I like that it doesn't, this anti-sweat grip, which is nice. I'd notice that. But some of this other stuff, I'm not going to notice. But man, people get into gaming. There's Halo World tournaments.
Yes.
And they're all going to be playing these. They're all going to have one of these controllers.
I tell you what, it does raise the question whether the battlefield within games will become unfair, because the hairline triggers are essentially designed to make you shoot quicker, because then obviously you can press it faster. So what happens if you're in a one-on-one with someone without a hairline trigger remote? Will they be at a disadvantage? I think they might be.
Probably, but I think in competitive gaming, they're all going to make the jump and get the extreme.
Yeah. So
anyway,
poor,
so
you poor casual gamers.
yeah, exactly.
Things are about to get worse for you.
Look, when I get an Xbox One, we'll go on Twitch and you'll kill me in Halo 700 times and you'll have fun with that, and that's great.
Hurry up and get an Xbox.
Reality,
we need to do Twitch podcasts. Hurry up and get an Xbox.
Yeah, there you go. After party on
Let's
Twitch.
Let's do a Kickstarter for Sean. So.
No, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of those. I'll just say if I can get one. I'll probably have one this summer, to be honest. Maybe. We'll see.
Don't push yourself.
What was that?
If you really don't want one, you don't have to get one.
Yeah, but I mean, for me, it's more RPG stuff. I mean, I like Halo.
You like Fallout 4?
I haven't played it. Honestly, I haven't played a Fallout series. But man, I'm telling you, you agree with me. These pro gamers are gonna love this controller, and it's. I saw a video. It's so interchangeable. You just pop it out and then put a new one in. It's like, oh, you want a new D-pad? And you just like, bloop bloop, magnets. It's great, and it's so attractive. So nice.
It's very attractive.
And there's little paddle shifters on the back. Those will be usable for Forza probably pretty well, yeah?
Oh, yeah, for like gear changes and stuff.
And you can customize it. You can remap the controller to do what you want.
Which is big.
The only thing that's down, I saw some people pointing out, there's more buttons, but not necessarily more different controls. So it's not like, oh, there's ABXY, and then these other buttons that are only available, which I can understand because they don't want to make people have to buy it.
No, yeah.
So, but some people wanted that.
I'm going to buy one just because. I need
just because.
My
Just do a review of it. Put it online. Do this review of this controller. You're going to love it.
A controller, buttons. Let's go.
All people will watch it. Everyone wants one. I mean, just because I'm not going to buy it right away doesn't mean I don't want it.
No, yeah. I reckon next E3, Microsoft will announce a smaller Xbox One as well. Or if it's not an XT3, it will be within the next couple of years, because the Xbox One is a chunky device.
Yeah.
And they need to start shrinking it soon.
What if instead of going smaller, they said it's the same size, but we put more into it?
What do you mean? I mean, they've already upped the hard drive to 1 terabyte.
That's true. Is there anything else they could upgrade that people actually want?
Not really. Not without like fragmenting the market. Because if you up the CPU and RAM and stuff, then technically the newer console will be more powerful, and then developers will probably develop for that one, and then the older version won't be supported anymore, and that causes problems. So
that's why half generation consoles get left out. If you come out a year early, then the new consoles come out. Everyone's developing for those newest ones,
exactly.
and you're going to be behind.
So,
okay,
which is why these are called generation consoles, being that they last a long period of time, because developers squeeze the most out of them. Which is a shame. Which is weird actually, because the Xbox One is already struggling with some games. I mean, some of them games are 900p at only 30 frames a second, whereas this generation should be 1080p, pushing higher than that at 60 frames. So I'm not sure how long the Xbox One will last in this generation.
Yeah, I remember, when they first came out, new consoles used to come out like every couple of years.
Yeah, but it's still the same. What do you mean? Like, as in like the last decade or many years before
No,
that?
like when I was a kid, like the N64
Oh
to the
yeah, no, yeah,
GameCube.
that was different though. That was
Like those were like, bam, cranking these out. It's
yeah,
like, oh, you just filled your whole library? You need a whole new console now.
yeah,
Except they were actually pretty backwards compatible with some of the systems
yeah.
then.
They were.
But don't you love how that feature went away?
Now it's back.
Yeah, now it's back and everyone's like, yeah, further proving that if you have a loyal enough fan base, you can do like whatever you want, as long as after a little bit you go back to what people want. They'll still love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a bad significant other. It's like they do just enough to stick around, and they're really good at apologizing. That's what I feel. Some of these companies are like, it's like, oh baby, no, I'm sorry, I'll be better. I'm a changed person. It's like, all right, well, you do play my Xbox 360 games now, so
Okay, you can have a chance.
you can come back. You don't have to move out your stuff.
Oh, we didn't talk about HoloLens, the HoloLens demo.
That's true.
That
Halo
was
lens.
crazy. I mean, they did the
Halo.
Halo thing, but that wasn't really.
But you're talking about with Minecraft, yeah?
They demoed Minecraft running on HoloLens, and let me tell you, it gave me shivers. It was great. The entire audience erupted. The guy played Minecraft, and it came up on his table, and he could like see it all over it, and he could like see the people. He could like pinpoint stuff. It was amazing. I can't wait.
I saw this great meme though based on this. It was like Lego. It was like Lego trying to be Minecraft, and it was a Lego video game. And then it was like Minecraft trying to be Lego, and it was 3D Legos and HoloLens, or 3D Minecraft and HoloLens. But obviously, Minecraft is more than just blocks, so it's a whole game. And it was cool because you on the table, it was on the wall, and then it was on the table in 3D, and you were like, ooh. And then you could like zoom in, and you're like, oh. And then she was over there playing on her Surface.
Yeah.
And then he was looking at it through a HoloLens with that awesome camera that I honestly think should be just as famous as the HoloLens because it gives you a third-person view of the HoloLens. When they're doing gaming tournaments and everyone's playing with a HoloLens, they're going to have these cameras so we actually know what's going on. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Unfortunately, many of the people who have tested the HoloLens, not the original prototype, but the newer ones, yes, the field of view is a lot smaller. Meaning that what we see when we're watching it at the conference isn't what the gamer's seeing. The gamer's seeing a very small space. I guess it's... If you hold out your hands and try to make a widescreen, that's how much they're seeing. Yeah.
Like we said, the screen's really big if it's really close.
But if you hold it out to about there, that's kind of the viewfinder, and you get to look around like that. I mean, you can still see the world around you, so you're not like enclosed in this small space, but the actual holograms aren't actually showing up in the entire field of view, which is a shame, and is definitely going to take away from the holographic experience, I think.
Yeah, well, one of the things with virtual reality versus augmented reality is that you don't have to render a whole universe in augmented reality, which was originally, we'd say, an advantage because the computing power wasn't required to build the world around you, just what was going on top of the world.
Yeah.
But to limit it to that small point of view, that's disappointing. Hopefully,
I guess it's a hardware limitation because if you notice, the camera that they use to show everything is a huge thing. So we've got wires on it. There's a person behind him making sure he doesn't fall over. There's like, imagine packing that into your... Because I mean, the prototypes in January were tethered. They were plugged into big computers, and it hung down on these people. You had to get like dressed for it and stuff. So that's why they had a bigger field of view. But the actual consumer one will have a lot shorter one, just because it's in your little head, like in your band.
Why is it in Halo that Master Chief can jump so high? Is he genetically modified, or is it the suit?
He's a Spartan. He is a genetically modified human.
Microsoft will have to make Spartans.
I don't know if he's human actually.
Microsoft will have to make Spartans so that they can demo a full HoloLens because they'll have to run around with all the equipment on them, and it'll be like 500 pounds.
Yeah.
Or exoskeletons or something,
Gus says ads in HoloLens will already be amazing. Imagine ads in HoloLens.
Well, you walk around and it's like McDonald's, and it's like, boop, now we're on the dollar menu.
It's like a holographic Big Mac is on the desk. You know you want one, and then it disappears. Go to your nearest McDonald's.
I can see that now. You sit there and it's like literally on your desk. You're like working on something, doing like some modeling.
Pops up.
And then like a Coke just like appears to your right and you just kind of grab it. And then it's like, I noticed you tried to grab that Coca-Cola. You could go buy one at this. And then like Cortana will come in from the left and be like the nearest Coca-Cola to you.
Oh man, this platform is gonna be great.
Again, this is why we need to be in charge of marketing, because holographic Coca-Cola and that's the way to go.
Or no adverts at all, which is what I imagine everybody will prefer.
Anyway,
we have WinBeta adverts, just the logo on the desk.
Oh, yeah, just like a watermark.
Yeah,
just like.
It'd be great.
Let me see here. We're running out of time. Do you want to just briefly touch on the giant PC that's coming out?
Absolutely.
Sure. So there's a giant AMD design PC. The best way I describe this as, you won't need one unless you already know about it, because it is so advanced that it literally has a thermal cooling section. And so it's a ridiculously powerful computer. I'm sure someone will find a use for it, other than myself. But yeah, so it's AMD. It's a superconductor giant AMD designed its very own PC, and it's breathtaking. Introducing Project Quantum. So Fahad wrote this up. It's definitely worth looking at. You know, it is extremely powerful. There's just a nice 2 or 3 minute, about almost 3 minute video on it. It says, with its 2-section design, Project Quantum looks stunning. The bottom half features all of the components, including the motherboard, processor, and graphics, while the top half includes a custom designed water cooling solution that keeps the thermal levels at bay. And if you watch the video, it goes through how the water like runs through these, like, it called them coils, but they're not shaped like a little spring. It's more just like water runs through so it can cool this stuff. Details are scarce though, so we don't know what processor's built in. It says possibly a high-end AMD FX 8-core chip. That's just a guess though. That's not verified or anything like that. But the point is that supercomputers, the other thing though is it's really fun to watch companies push the limits, because when companies push the limit, it becomes a really high-end, high-priced product. But then over the years, those similar features come down in price and become more medium-end, and then hopefully eventually low-end. So obviously that'd be years and years away before this was like basic. But the idea of this is quite promising because it's such a powerful computer. So there's that. It looks fun. Check out the video. Anyway, all right. Well, this has been the WinBeta podcast for the week of June 19th, 2015. I believe this is podcast 20.
You are correct.
As always, you can find us on Twitter. I am one of your hosts, Sean Michael. You can find me on Twitter at Sean_Michael_UK. Sorry about all the underscores. And you can find Zach on Twitter at
ZachB_.
There you go. I know it, but they want to hear you say it. You can also find WinBeta on Twitter at WinBetaDOT.org. Follow us on YouTube, SoundCloud, all sorts of things like that. And stay tuned to WinBeta for all the latest and greatest Microsoft-related news. We will see you on the next one. And as Zach would say, bye-bye.